I am going to attempt to do 2 more videos while my first one is still apparently uploading because my phone is stupid. Anyway, yeah, this is for Arrow Season 4, Episode 20, titled Genesis. Glorious, right? Just that name sounds pretty cool, but we all know it's not going to be a very good thing in this episode. But, from what I remember, Damien Dark returns to Hive because, he escaped jail after killing Laurel, the dick. And, when he gets there, there's, 2 board members from Hive sitting in person basically, he returns to the boardroom, and out of all the board members, there's, 2 people actually there in person while everybody else is on, a computer screen or a television screen, right? And, at first, you don't think he's gonna do anything to them, but he does sound very bitter because he's all like, I got jailed and all of you abandoned me. I don't like you guys because of that. And it feels like he's gonna kill those 2 people there, right? But then he's like, he seems like he's not, to the point where he asks, oh, is my plan for Genesis still in effect even after I'm jailed? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's still in effect. We're still doing Genesis. It's doing great. Right after he gets a confirmation of Genesis, he kills those 2 board members there, and he's like, anybody else? And everyone just stays silent on the screens, and it's the funniest thing in the world. It's like, no. No. We're not gonna argue with you. You just killed 2 of our members in front of our faces. Right? Anyway, apparently, this is so cool, there's a name drop during here where they Oliver mentions getting back in contact with Constantine. I really hoped to see Constantine back in person again, but apparently that didn't happen. But anyway, Oliver does mention that he finally got in contact with Constantine, even though I wish we saw him in person. And Constantine said that he had a friend. Apparently, this friend will help Oliver defeat Damien Dark, because it's apparently a magical friend, right? So, Oliver volunteers to go by himself, but Felicity's like, nope, I'm going with you. We're gonna take my company plane, and we're gonna go with you. We're gonna go find this person. And I think they end up in Vegas? Was it Vegas or Reno? I know they end up in one of those 2. Vegas or Reno, and they end up a casino. And, according to Constantine, that friend will show up at a certain table, right? So they're waiting, and Felicity decides, since we're here, I'm gonna play some, I think it was blackjack she was playing? Was it blackjack or poker? I don't know, but she's all playing at the table, and Oliver is like, I don't think this person's gonna show, but it turns out that person they're waiting for was at the table the whole time, because by the end of the whole, card game, there's only 2 people at the table. It's Felicity and this one woman, and it turns out that's the woman they're looking for, and her name is Fortuna, and she's an immortal shaman, who apparently will educate Oliver about dark magic. So, I wanted to look up Fortuna to see if she actually was in DC Comics, because it does sound familiar, but I couldn't really get a proper thing. So, if Fortuna is somewhere in the comics, and I'm talking about pre-New 52, which means any comic book before the New 52, all the old comics before the New 52 came around, look for Fortuna. Because if there is a Fortuna before New 52, I want to know. And if it's possible, if you do find one before the New 52, that'd be cool. But if you do find a New 52 one, fine. But I really want to see if there is someone named Fortuna before the New 52 reboot. Anyway, Fortuna's all explaining to Oliver that Damien Dark's idol, that little tiki head looking thing, channels darkness and death, therefore feeding him more power. And in order to, fight against Damien Dark's power, which is channeled by darkness and death, the opposite force fighting has to channel light and hope, which, the opposite of death and darkness, right? So, they do, some sort of mystical ritual, which I think is kind of weird. Kind of too fast for my opinion. I wish they could, explain that a little more, but I guess they can't, considering. But I wish they could explain that shit more. It seems kind of rushed when they talk about, Damien Dark's idol and his powers, and the opposite force and the mystical ritual. It seems kind of sped up, kind of rushed, but I guess they couldn't do anything about that. But anyway, Oliver pretty much, Fortuna first gives a little sample of Damien Dark's powers for him to fight off, and he does fight it off successfully. But when she gives him like a full extent of the power and darkness power inside, and you know, Damien Dark's darkness power, he ends up like blacking out and getting like flashes, where not really flashes, but he envisions the League of Assassins, he envisions Deathstroke, he even envisions Damien Dark himself fighting him. And the stuff he sees is obviously the darkness actually getting to him. So apparently when Fortuna gives the full blast, the darkness inside Oliver's heart, pretty much inside his heart, is so strong that instead of blocking out Damien Dark's darkness that Fortuna puts on him, it pretty much absorbs it, henceforth making it way too strong to channel any light from him. And because of that, he ends up failing the second time, and Fortuna pretty much gives up on him right then and there, and it's like, what the fuck? That literally is like gotta be the fastest teaching methods I've ever seen in my life, because small bit, Oliver's fine. Decides to go all out, he couldn't do it, won't even give him a second chance. It's like, you couldn't do it the first time, so I give up on you. And she straight up just leaves them there. And it's like, well, shit. You could have at least given him like a second or possibly third try. I don't know. I mean, come on. Just one shot at full blast and you give up on him already? I mean, come on. But anyway, back in Star City during all this, Diggle managed to locate Andy through a face recognition thingy. And they end up having a shootout, and Lila at the time is in hiding with her daughter Sarah at what looks like maybe like a back of a truck. You know those freaking giant ass trucks you see on the road carrying shit all the time? She looks like she's in there, and the truck's pretty cool because it has these high-tech shit all over, and like basically it's like a little home inside the back of a truck. But during a brief shootout, unfortunately, Andy manages to trick Diggle because, you know, Diggle corners Andy, but another one of Andy's little friends knocks out Diggle, and he ends up getting, captured after that brief shootout. And, Diggle manages to escape, but in my honest opinion, it did seem a little easy considering Andy's training. So, we do find out that Andy did, in a way, kind of let Diggle go, because apparently Andy put a tracking device on him, which allowed him to track Diggle to Lila, because apparently, Damien Dark wants to steal something from Lila, and so in order to get to Lila, they needed Diggle to pretty much lead him to her. So, Damien Dark, as well as, you know, Andy, they go after Diggle, Lila, and their daughter, while they're in that little safety truck thingy, and, yeah, I did seem to think it was kind of too easy that, Andy let Diggle go during that whole confrontation, the fact that he allowed himself to get handcuffed so easily by Diggle. I mean, Diggle and Andy both got the same training, if you think about it. They're both from the military. You would think they both had the same military training. So it seemed kind of odd that Andy easily got handcuffed by his brother. So I thought that was way too easy, and it was proven right when we find out, when Damien Dark sets Andy free, that he allowed Diggle to escape because he put a tracking device, because Damien Dark wants to go after Lila, because she apparently has something that Damien Dark wants. And I don't know how long my time is right now, so I'm going to start the video here. I'm going to have a part 2. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? I promise I will get my normal recording device, because it actually shows the time. So anyway, I'll see you in the next video for the part 2 part. Bye, guys.